It's Mom and Pop Video Shop.
Welcome to the Mom and Pop Video Shop. I am Joel.
And I'm Tyson.
Yes, he is. And we are here to do a retro movie review of a movie that is in my personal top 10 of the 1980s. I don't know if did I tell you what this was going to be yet?
No, I don't think I know. I didn't tell you any money.
Okay, all right. So
it's a day of surprises.
Yes, many surprises. So hopefully all good.
What's your top 10 of 1980?
Okay, guess.
Oh shit, man! I
don't know why I asked him to do that. It's really a pointless exercise. It is
probably a horror movie.
Well, yes, and obviously anybody that's watching this clicked on it because of the thumbnail and or the title, so you know what it is. Duh. The Blob.
Oh,
from 1988. Here's I believe the Scream Factory Blu-ray of it. The Blob, 1988. I will read from the back of the box. The Blob is back in this horrific tale about a vile, malignant life form that crashes to Earth in a cozy rural American town called Arborville. Untroubled by conscience or intellect, the Blob does only one thing, and it does it well. It eats anything and everything that moves. Men, women, and children. And tonight, it wants to swallow the town of Arborville. The original version of the Blob thrilled and terrified audiences back in the 1950s. Now the oozing, gooey killer is back with a whole new high-tech look. What was once only suggested now comes to life with state-of-the-art special effects in the tradition of such thrilling remakes as The Thing and The Fly. I will say, I feel like The Thing and The Fly in this movie go together for me. All three of those are in my top 10 of the 1980s. They all have amazing special effects. I believe Tony Gardner is actually one of his first big where he was in charge.
The Blob Wrangler?
Yeah, he was the Blob. Yeah, he was. I don't know. It's funny. He did. The Blob was created, I believe, and I'm literally pulling this out of the memory bank. I can't remember the name of the artist, the effects artist, but I think that was actually done by a different crew that he just, this is his first production where he oversaw. Mm-hmm. He was originally brought in. When was the last time you saw this?
Probably within the last couple of years.
Okay. So you remember the projectionist scene?
Yeah.
Okay. He was, I think, originally brought in to do that. Okay. And then maybe a couple other, gimmicks and bits on the set. But this, he ended up getting to oversee.
Sure.
And so the effects are just tremendous. If you are a practical effects enthusiast, it uses visual effects, but it's 1988 visual effects, so that's not computer, and they still hold up really, really well. The thing about effects from that time period, especially visual effects, is a lot about it the lighting was a factor.
And they look hokey, and that's the thing about this is I don't remember ever feeling like this was cheap.
Yeah, even when they do rear screen projection, which I assume they did, or miniatures.
I like the stuff.
But Larry Cohen. Yeah.
Exactly, but I think that's a perfect example. If I remember correctly, I don't know that the effects from the stuff hold up.
No, and I doubt it had the same budget as this. So, also, it was co-written by Chuck Russell, who wrote Dream Warriors and directed Dream Warriors. He co-wrote it.
Yes.
And Frank Darabont, which I feel like I shouldn't have to tell anybody who that is, but Frank Darabont was a co-writer
of Shawshank Redemption fame.
Yes.
And something a little more modern.
Walking Dead, of course. Ultimately, the two of them, and they think Darabont also was a co-writer on Dream Warriors as well back in the day. So, and Chuck Russell directed this. I think Chuck Russell also directed, was it Eraser with Arnold? Yeah. Maybe. And Vanessa Williams, thank you. Yes, the Miss America who had to have her crown. Remember that was remember a quaint time when you had some nudie pictures could ruin your career. Yeah. How quaint that seems. Nowadays, obviously, it would just make her more famous.
Exactly.
It's the total opposite. So The Blob is fantastic. If you've never seen it, I'm not even gonna waste time talking up maybe I don't like this. This is a 5 taper for me.
Sure.
100% a 5 taper. If you've never seen it, I don't want to give anything away. It feels like Stephen King, this version of it, loved the original Blob, wrote a novelization, but in his Stephen King way, and then they made it into this movie. Like, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I love the original Steve McQueen Blob myself.
I think I saw it once when I was a kid.
And that's the, and I was an adult before I saw the original. It's like so many things from the 80s remake, like The Thing and all this stuff. Like those versions were my versions because I was too young. I didn't realize that there was originals. Right?
Yes.
That's how I was with the Blob. When I first saw this as a kid, man, it the iconic, and it's not this cover, but the other cover.
Yes, where it's like the silhouette of somebody in the Blob
scene where he's
man.
Like, dude, scared the shit out of me.
Which apparently, according to the behind the scenes stuff, Tony Gardner said that was the last effects thing they did. Because they actually worked, because they knew that was going to be like the opening kill. And so they ended up working backwards, knowing that they would do that last. So they would have worked through all the mistakes and issues and problems so that one would be super effective from the audience's point of view. It's the first thing they see.
So that effect, that scene stuck with me.
To be fair, you are Italian.
I know.
That a scene.
It's me, Mario.
And it's Kevin Dillon.
Yes.
And like his motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
The kid. Basically, the only things I remembered about it until much later in life.
Oh, yeah.
I visited this, and then I had a much greater appreciation.
Yes. But you know what's funny? It's like you watch this and you watch the original, right? Or same thing with The Thing. At least The Thing, though, is based on a source material. I don't think there's a Blob book that I'm aware of. I mean, I guess I could have checked that out before we started this, but I don't think so.
Not the Blob.
Yeah. So
I don't think.
My argument is always, it's not a remake if it's got a different source material it could be based on. Like, I don't consider that a remake. It's in the same way I don't think consider every Romeo and Juliet a remake of the previous one. It's a reinterpretation. It's a different artist's view of that source material. Fine. But what's cool about the Blob to me is that, unlike The Thing, which again, I feel like Carpenter's The Thing is much more in line with the short story, from what I understand, right? Isn't it? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
No, yeah.
Like, maybe I need to talk less and listen more.
I feel like tonally it is, isn't it? Like, because I haven't seen the original Thing in years. I just vaguely remember it.
I think the two of them together.
It's like they both use.
Yeah, I think that's a good balance of the short story.
Yeah, but my point is they both had that source material to draw from, right?
Yes.
So, as well as Carpenter had the original that I know he was a fan of. Please refer to Halloween. So, I think that when you do it that way, it's a little different. But the thing about the Blob that really works for me is that it's indicative, like we always hear about, like we're making this for the modern audience.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, but you know what? The modern, that's not a thing. It's a made up marketing thing. You know what I mean? That's not a thing. It's an audience. We live in the time we live in, so things have changed in different ways. Fine. And this is an example of, in 1988, this feels more modern than the 50s version because it's reflecting just naturally through the story and the effects.
You're not making a period piece with this, and that's what's cool. Is it just speaks to how cool some monsters are.
Yeah,
that they're timeless.
Yes,
you could. Yes, you could remake the Blob today,
but it would all be CGI.
Well, simmer down there, Sparky.
Let's just say you hire the right crew and all the stars align and they decide to remake the Blob again with practical effects, which should be
but where maybe the technology is today, which is even further.
I think that there's another installment of this that somebody out there can make that would be just as badass as this.
It could be,
because I think this is a subject
if they try to tell a cool story the way they did with this
it's not confined by a time period or anything else. That's what's cool about these types of stories.
Well, to wrap this bad boy up, what do you give the Blob? 1 out of 14.
I'm going to say 4.
Heresy. Just kidding. It's a 5-taper, obviously, as I said earlier. I'm not even, I should have just started the whole review. It's a 5-taper.
And I've said this the last several videos. The only reason it's a 4 for me and not a 5
because you haven't seen it in a while.
I haven't seen it as much as you have.
Yes, I get it. No, that's fair. That's totally a fair point. So, The Blob, have you seen it? Let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Are you more a fan of the original? Maybe you are. But I think this movie is definitely worth checking out. And I guess then, until we meet again here in the shop, remember, at Mom and Pop's, our love of
the stuff
never stops.
Mom and Pop's Video Shop.